ANC Chief Whip Pemmy Majodina says the late former Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Aziz Pahad belonged to a fine cohort of MPs who were keen to see South Africa excel in international relations. Majodina spoke to Khayelihle khumalo on the sidelines of the BRICS Parliamentary Forum in Kempton Park.
There has been a deluge of condolences paying tribute to the late former Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs, Aziz Pahad, given a very indelible mark that he's leaving behind in South Africa with a very immense contribution to the attainment of democracy. Joining us now is the ANC's Chief Whip in Parliament, Ms. Pemmy. Thank you so much indeed, Chief Whip. I mean, this is a man who was a Member of Parliament for the ANC for quite a number of years, but quite a very incredible contribution that he made to the attainment of democracy in South Africa.
Yes, indeed, very sad news to lose such a veteran with a vast experience. Remember, those were the first cohort of the African National Congress in a democratic parliament to be there to establish policies, to establish laws. It was not easy. Remember, we had sanctions against South Africa. To re-establish ourselves globally was an immense task that he had to carry as a Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs at the time. The laws and policies that we are rolling out today, we owe them to him, and we must ensure that we sustain him, that of seeing peace globally, that of seeing economic growth, as well as respect, international respect for human rights. So as the ANC caucus, we give salute to Honorable Aziz Pahad, who was a very disciplined cadre in the true sense, a person who will avail himself at all material times to do the ANC work in Parliament with diligence.
And any just particular lessons for the cohort of MPs, especially in a very interesting subject matter around international relations, the foreign policy? I mean, we're speaking here on the sidelines of the BRICS the Parliamentary Forum that is currently underway. But any lessons that MPs can learn from the late Pahad?
Oh yes, is that when you deal with global matters, you must put your petty local issues aside and look globally. Look, the recent pandemic has taught us that we are one globally as community, and we must ensure that whatever we do come with a solution for the world. So building a better world and a better Africa was what guided him throughout. It is our responsibility, therefore, that where he left off, we must take that spear and move forward to ensure that we put South Africa on the map, we become patriotic. There's nothing disturbing where a member of Parliament goes out and speak out of his own party and not respect the sovereignty of the country. But Honorable Aziz Pahad was not such a person. He was very patriotic about the country and very defensive of the policies of our country.
And just before I let you go, Chief Whip, I suppose also one of the ways to honor him would be making sure that the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area becomes a reality, seeing the upliftment of the people who are still languishing in poverty. I mean, those are areas he was really passionate about.
Indeed. But for us to see that a trade agreement being implemented, we need peace first. I'm just coming from that Commission on Peace. The recent coups, the recent instability, terrorism in the continent does not take us forward as this continent. That is why we become so vulnerable. And for us to trade, you need stability. You need a freedom of movement by people, but in a very systematic and organized manner. So for that, we must, as South Africans, give honor to him by ensuring that this Africa Free Trade Agreement is implemented and benefit all citizens of this continent.
All right, Chief Whip, thank you so much indeed for your time. Of course, on behalf of the ANC in Parliament, reflecting just about the legacy of the late Aziz Pahad, but also talking about the very lovely values that he really espoused and really cherished. Right here on the sidelines of the BRICS Parliamentary Forum. Khayelihle, Khumalo, SABC News, Kempton Park.